a squat rack, pull-up bar, turf field, ever again. I'd like to thank Yuri and Chris, especially Chris for getting stuck with the distance group. While we didn't always show it, you always had our respect, and I just want you to know that. I want to thank Jenica. I've been seeing Jenica consistently since the fall, and even though you made me do exercises like the Turkish flops, I thank you for everything. I want to thank the parents for donating their time and money to the program. I want to thank the families who have opened their homes to me when going home was never an option. I'm incredibly grateful and cannot thank you enough for your generosity and kindness. I want to thank specifically my roommate's parents for feeding me, probably more than you know. I've been stealing your son's food for the past 3 years. So I'm both sorry and grateful for all the groceries. I want to thank the team. You have made my senior year significant, and I am forever indebted to you all. You're the reason why both programs have jumped in the water, at our worst, 6 a.m. in the middle of January, and at our best, claiming conference titles. You've made my college swimming experience tolerable at times when I thought I was going to die. For that, I thank you. To my seniors, you have made my college experience. We have failed, we have succeeded, we have cried, we have laughed, we have bled, oftentimes all at once in a single conditioning session with Coach B. From playing sardines in the dorms freshman year of Christmas training, to cutting down Christmas trees in country clubs with steak knives. Sophomore year, sledding in laundry hampers behind SUVs junior year in Galveston. And even though we've lost them along the way, I wouldn't want to go out with any other group. Thank you for an amazing 4 years. Last but not least, even though they weren't able to make it today, I want to thank my family. It's cliche to say that I wouldn't be who I am or where I am today if it weren't for them, but it's absolutely true, and I owe everything to them. When I had originally wrote this, I wanted to stop there, but I had heard a story that I really want to share with you guys, so I apologize. I once heard, and bear with me, I once heard a woman compare her collegiate swimming experience to being pregnant. Of course, my first reaction was just how absurd it sounded. However, in reflecting on my past 4 years, I now can't think of a better analogy. I don't have much experience in being pregnant, so I confided in my mom to make sure this woman's story fit. This woman's story started off as she recalls the pregnancy glow and the mixed bag of emotions she was experiencing when she first found out she was pregnant. Above all else, she was both scared and excited. For swimmers, and especially on this team, the glow is all too real. Okay, I'm sorry, I found it. Everyone is literally glowing from the summer tans, and everyone excited about the new year in September, and with the new freshmen. But at the same time, it's sort of scary. If it's your first pregnancy, absolutely everything is terrified. These are the freshmen. For returners, pregnancy is routine. From here, things head south, as the woman explained. She gained weight, she was sore, mundane movements all of a sudden became uncomfortable, and cravings became a problem. For swimmers, this is training 20 hours a week. We're sore, tired, and on top of that, some of us might be indulging a little too much at Karst. Cravings such as bowls of meat, Taco Bell challenge, late night donut runs, or eating a jar of peanut butter in a sitting isn't unheard of. Reality has sunk in, the season has started, we are pregnant, and we are scared. In the midst of all the negatives, this woman remembers things looking up when she got to find out the sex of her baby. She was excited all over again. For swimmers, this is the mid-season taper meet. Some are briefly disappointed in the results. For instance, if you're set on having a baby boy and you end up with a girl, or in swimming, if you add 15 seconds in your 500, like me, you aren't the happiest of campers. However, with all of that in mind, we recognize that there is a larger picture and we move forward. Later in pregnancy, my mom and this woman remembered being miserable. The countdown to their due date had begun, and while the light at the end of the tunnel is visible, it's still so far away. Unless, of course, you had an emergency C-section, and in that case, my Notre Dame fellows know what I'm talking about. For everyone else, the end of the season slowly approaches. For my mom, her due date crawled, as she explained. As she approaches, she became more and more uncomfortable and agitated. For swimmers, this is taper. While at first glance it seems like heaven, practices all of a sudden go from hard to terrible. You feel awful in the water, and your mind races because you think you're eating too much or not sleeping enough. In time, conference has arrived. 7 sessions of swimming and diving never seemed so dramatic. However, in the scope of things, those 4 days just fly by. For my mom, she was in labor for 4 hours and vaguely remembers what happened during, before, and after. From a swimmer's perspective, this couldn't be more accurate. It's all a blur, a whirlwind of activity and chaos. Finally, 4 hours later, my mom gave birth to me, and the woman gave birth to a baby girl. In both cases, they describe it as one of the most rewarding experiences. For swimmers, this most definitely comes following Saturday night session. However, the emotion isn't always as pleasant. For example, we've all seen those babies that just kind of come out ugly. Usually ugly babies turn out all right in the end, but in that moment when you first see that baby and it's like a little ET or something, you're caught off guard. In swimming, after all the time, work, and effort, sometimes you fall short. Your baby is ugly. Things don't turn out how you wanted them to, and it sucks. However, no matter how ugly your baby is, time swam, scores received, or points placed, is all we have. While it may not seem like a gift at the time, while it may sting, there's so much that went into making that little swimming baby thing that if you haven't already realized, you will in time, that it's actually perfection. My message is to next year's sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Feed and nurture your babies. May they grow strong and beautiful. However, it's almost guaranteed that some of you will have ugly babies. For instance, it would be easy for me to reflect on my 4 years of swimming as having never made the conference team, as having given birth to 4 heinous babies. However, I refuse to look at it like that, and I encourage you all to do the same. Thank you.